is, everything is against me, Genesis 42:36, and all things God works for the good of those who love him, Romans 8:28. Many people are lacking when it comes to power, but how is power produced? The other day, my friend and I were passing by the power plant that produces electricity for the streetcars. We heard that hum and roar of the countless wheels of the turbines, and I asked my friend, how is the power produced? He replied, it simply is generated by a turning of those wheels and the friction they create. The rubbing produces the electric current. In a similar way, when God desires to create more power in your life, he creates more friction. He uses this pressure to generate spiritual power. Some people can't handle it and run from the pressure instead of receiving the power and using it to rise above the powerful experience that it produces. Opposition is essential to maintain true balance between forces. It is the centripetal and centrifugal forces acting in opposition to each other that keep our planet in the proper orbit. The propelling action, coupled with the repelling counteraction, keep the Earth in orbit around the sun instead of flinging it into space and a path of certain destruction. God guides our lives in the same way. It is not enough to have only a propelling force. We need an equal repelling force. So he holds us back through the testing ordeals of life, the pressures of temptations and trials, and all the things that seem to be against us further our progress and strengthen our foundation. Let us thank him for both the weights and the wings he produces. And realizing we are divinely propelled, let us press on with faith and patience in our high and heavenly calling. In a factory building, there are wheels and gears. There are cranks, pulleys, belts, either tight or slack. Some are whirling swiftly, some are turning slowly. Some are thrusting forward, some are pulling back. Some are smooth and silent, some are rough and noisy, pounding, rattling, clanking, moving with a jerk. In a wild confusion and a seeming chaos, lifting, pushing, driving, but they do their work. From the mightiest lever to the smallest cog or gear, all things move together for the purpose planned. And behind the working is a mind controlling and a force directing and a guiding hand. So all things are working for the Lord's beloved. Some things might be hurtful if alone they stood. Some might seem to hinder, some might draw us backward, but they work together and they work for good. All the thwarted longings, all the stern denials, all the contradictions hard to understand. And the force that holds them, speeds them and retards them, stops and starts and guides them, is our Father's